Започваме с следващата презентация, която има връзка и с предходната. Как да направим един малък пиксар. Това е също посветено на това как да се направи с малко ресурси един филм в малък екип. И отново лекторът е, бих казал, една личност, която има много в кръгва си и която има и много интересни неща направени. Давам думата на Henrik Malmgren от Дания, който всъщност е по произход от Швеция. So I'm just explaining very briefly what we're going to see and how it's connected to the previous presentation, because today part of the computer animation seminar is dedicated for how to make a movie with your own resources in a small team, and it's really important for young people, for students, for young animators, and really because the big productions, okay, we hear a lot about them. So I'm passing the floor to you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry I don't speak Bulgarian.
Just for the translation to be clear, I can translate if it's necessary. Колко има нужда от превод, предполагам? Okay. Okay, so we'll try without a translation because most of people know a little bit or more English. And if it's necessary to explain something, just stop me or ask and we'll explain. Okay.
Thank you very much. All right, creating the guest. Being your own mini Pixar and the importance of killing your deadline. What that means I will try to explain in the end. First of all, my name is Henrik. I'm Swedish. I live in Denmark. And the place that I live is called Viborg. In Viborg there is a place called the Animation Workshop. And they have a website. Looks like this. It's a place that has many different departments. The most important thing is the education. It's the bachelor in animation, character animation, and then a bachelor in CG art. And they work together during 3 years. The animators, they focus on animation, and the CG art, they do everything else. So when you make a film, as you might know, there's a lot to do. So it's a teamwork-based education where it's not only about being really good at ZBrush or whatever software, but it's also really important to be able to communicate and talk to other people, and so that's what they're trying to create. So that's the education. They also have a Center for Education and Animation, where they are teaching teachers how to use animation in teaching. So if a person, a young guy or young girl, has trouble to read, it might be difficult to learn. So this is a method for trying to teach maybe history or mathematics by making films. So I went to Romania to teach a workshop with children, and it was really cool. So yeah, I'm working at the school, teaching at the bachelor education, sometimes doing this, also going out teaching with children. There's going to be a film festival that they want to make it big. And in the future, your film will be there if you make one. When you make one. That's the attitude. Yeah. Well, what is it that Homer says? The first step to failure is to try. So don't try, okay? So yeah, you can. I will not take more time with you. You can go to this website, and there's graduation films from previous years. They're really good. So I won't show them because then I look bad. They're really skilled. And then there's something called Open Workshop, which was the reason why I came to Viborg. So Denmark is like this Copenhagen, close to Sweden. Sweden is here, and there's a little island in the middle, and then there's this other chunk of country that sticks together with Germany, and that's called Jutland, and Viborg is in the middle of that. Okay, so the Open Workshop is a place for people who are not very experienced, but have some sort of idea or strong need to make something. Yeah, it's very open. So you can come with a project, you can make paintings. There's an American guy who worked at Pixar he worked on Monsters Incorporated as a concept artist, and he's there making a comic book. There's an American guy who worked on Surf's Up. No, sorry, not the other penguin film. it's
Happy
Feet.
Feet.
Happy Feet. Yeah, he developed technical tools for them, and he's this whiz, and he's there to make a film. Because all his life has been this technical whiz, and now he wants to be a director. And it's also for people who want to get into the education, the animation workshop. They're there to make their portfolio. And then there's people like me who also wants to make a film, but really haven't had much experience, but still want to do it. Yeah. So what is it like there, this weird place? It's a bit like this. This is Sarah Barbas. She's been working at Artman Animation Studios. She's in the Open Workshop to develop a short film. These are her characters for her film. There's people who do comics. That's my friend Denis. He's French. He's making a TV series that's being produced in Germany right now. He also came to Open Workshop to develop. He had a little small idea, and now it's big. This guy, he works in Copenhagen. His name is Mats. So there's Danish people, there's this is a Spanish girl called Inma. This is Michal, she's from Israel. They have a co-production with Denmark, France, and Canada. They're making a short film. It's an artistic film that has no commercial value other than art. Which is that a commercial value? It could be, I guess. That's me. This is Morten. He made maquettes, like these small puppets that describe what's going to be how the character is going to look. He helped out with Sarah Barbas. So it's you work together. There's a shared kitchen for the people who are in the Open Workshop. You can, if you are there with the project, they pay for your stay. So you live in a small room that you decorate really well, so that you get friends. And then you join a meeting the kitchen. People play rock music. This project is called the Cannon Birds, and they actually get a little bit of money from the open workshop as well. That was a Hungarian girl. That's how they look. My name is Fruji, and she's also making a short film. This is a typical meeting where you share your ideas and talk about how you could get better. Okay, so that's open workshop at the animation workshop, which is in Viborg in Denmark. Okay, so I accidentally made this film. This is the website. You have 3 different soundtracks you can listen to while you're browsing the website. You can turn up the sound. You can contact me, and you can read about the film, and you can get a press kit if you're a journalist, and you can watch the trailer, and you can watch the film. You can download the music as a PDF and listen to it on SoundCloud, and you can see where it was screened. You can become friends with it on Facebook.
We can become friends with a movie.
Facebook! And you can even go and buy yourself a little The Guest copy. And then you can like the website, so it's,
Do it.
So, okay. So now I thought about talking a little about how I ended up doing what I do currently. And excuse my PowerPoint skills; they are under development. Let's see now. So I started out trying to escape art. How are we with time? Is there how much time is there? I go on. Fine. You're not going anywhere?
No.
Okay. I was about 23, and my girlfriend, she was very sort of
Aggressive.
we should be strict, and it's good to make money. Okay, so and she started to study design, and wow, okay, you can make money and be an artist at the same time, or something like that. And so I tried to go after her. We met in Sweden, had a little bit of a relationship, and then she went to Denmark, and I tried to go after her. And I ended up studying at the school called Design School Coding. It's a bachelor and master's degree program for all kinds of designers. And we did things like this, where you put Lego together with robots and make them react to the environment, and we also made computer games and all kinds of things. The core was developing ideas and concepts. And I was missing doing something where there was form. So I went to Holland, to Rotterdam, and there was a guy called Balda. He's a guy who worked as an animator at Pixar. Maybe you met him or heard about him. He looks like this. He quit Pixar because it was too much work for him. He wanted to do other things than just work for somebody. He wanted to develop himself and become a director. So he went to Europe, and now he's actually directing, and he's also teaching. And Kyle was really, I didn't know anything about 3D animation, and then I saw his lecture, and I was like, okay, I can do that, no problem. He talked about the structure of the big company Pixar, and what they do, and you know how there's a guy who designs, and there's a guy who writes, and there's a guy who does the modeling, and then there's a guy who does the rigging, and there's the guy who does the texturing and shading, and I was like, oh, this is boring. I don't want to be any of those people. I want to do it all myself, and of course I can do it. So I tried to return to art. I came back to Denmark and I finished my school. It was really a problem to go from making interactive art to making an animation, and finally I was able to change education. We're really angry. And I graduated from illustration, making a 1-minute film in Maya, and it looks like this. And I thought, aha, that's easy. Oops. So after my graduation, I thought, okay, I'll just get an idea, and I start making a film. I should keep it simple, and then try to make a film. So I drew this on my mom's computer. It was a very bad computer, so you couldn't do anything fancy, which was pretty good. You could only do pixel art. I came up with these characters, and I thought maybe I can write something about these characters. Maybe they will come alive. I don't know, I have the very first thing I ever wrote. Burglar, old woman, 3 police. Police car flies by, burglar sneaks, woman sleeps. Can't get window open. Sort of just trying to describe what would happen in my film. Didn't really know anything about script writing. I just knew that it would be good to write something and then try to materialize my goal. And kept going like this, and this is the amount of stuff I wrote. Like this, that's not so much. And I thought that was enough. Now I've been writing now for hours. I will do my film. and it ends. In this version, the woman gets killed. Okay, let's make that film. Probably doesn't matter so much how it ends. And at the school, one of my, what do you call those people who look at what you do at graduation, like a censor? He's this famous Danish guy, and he makes a lot of good things. And he said, "Oh, Henrik, you should apply for money." Oh, okay, so here I am trying to look for money. And that was not so easy. Because I didn't have a film education, I hadn't directed anything. They told me that, why do you want to do this? My friends were like, you're a designer, look at the economy. What are you going to be an artist now? Why? Yeah. But you can program computer games, and you can do all these fancy things, and you can make money. Yeah. And I made a 2D version of my film, and sent it to the Film Institute, and I was like, yeah, when do I get the money? No, yeah, that didn't really happen.
What a surprise.
And it was a 2D film, and I thought, almost. It was what I would now call an animatic, which is like a sketch. No, it was a 2D film, and it was almost done. And it looks a bit like this. It was called Intrusion. No porn connection. But it had these characters, and I thought, I'll send it out to a few festivals and see what happens, and nothing happened. But my friend, who is called Johannes Nyholm, he said, man, you should just continue. You could do it. And everybody else said, stop it. And I chose to listen to Johannes, and try to continue this. So I walked around and said, oh, it takes too long to make a film. I tried to make 5 at the same time. So I worked on some other films also, and it didn't go very well. And I was sharing an apartment with a friend, and he worked in a real film production. Actually, on the film production that this famous guy who had told me to apply for money, he was the director, and it was a film called Princess. And my friend Andreas, he was working on Princess and met these weird people who were called animators. And before I heard about the animators, I thought that I was really good at 3D animation. I had made a 3D animation, and I beat the Balda's speech, and I could just make a film now. And there was no good animator in Denmark. And then he introduced me to those people, and they said, well, you know, he should come to Viborg. There is something called Open Workshop, and he should go there. And I had sworn on my mother's grave I wouldn't go back to Jutland. I wanted to live in Copenhagen and be with cool people. But yeah, okay, maybe I try. So then, yeah, I applied. I made a script, and it was very. Let me see. This is what I sent to them. Maybe it's nice for you to see what needs to be done. Whoops. Yeah, that's the script. That's how it looks. I took a script writing course because I had the feeling that I was not doing everything right. So here's the script, the application. Oh yeah, actually before I made that application, I made about 10 other ones. Here is one where I'm trying to see what I'm doing here. I'm trying to combine what I did before. This was like an interactive version of my film. Because apparently what you'll notice when you apply for money is that you always have to push your idea into something else. So this was some money you could get if you were some sort of an artist. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm an artist. And I made it an interactive idea, and they didn't even reply, so. They were probably very busy and didn't have time to read my application.
That's an excuse.
All right, so I sent this to Viborg. Had a front page and everything. January 2006. That's me. Table of contents. Why do I want to do this? What is the short version of the film? I have learned all these fancy ways of writing your story. Step outline, wow, synopsis. And then how would the characters look? When do I do things? This is a highly, what do you call it? It's not a very realistic plan. It's things that I spent months on, I did 8 days. And yeah, a little time plan, blah, blah, blah. This is what I did before. And then a CV. So, and I sent that to them, and also the animatic, or the film, as I thought it was. And I was accepted. And then they took me through all this, you know. Yeah, you have to make a better story. You have to have some real concept art in you, so you know what you want to do. You need to be good at modeling. Not that these are very good models, and I didn't make these are just examples. You need to know about UV mapping in the correct way. You know, the process of making a three-dimensional model flat so you can paint on it, like this. You need to understand the difference between textures and materials, and what they do to how it looks. You need to learn how to rig. I was crying more and more. Why do I need to learn all this? You need to learn how to light. This is not a very good picture. You need to learn how to light and make materials, like the real guys. Oh, okay. Time plan changed. I took an animation course because they also have like these two bachelor educations. They have two smaller versions of them that you can, if you are some sort of professional or newly graduated, you can go to these courses. They're 4 months, and they're actually pretty good. Where you get all these Censor teachers and give you the gold. So I took one of those animation courses, learned a bit more about animation. Yeah. And I realized that maybe it wasn't so easy to be my own mini Pixar after all. So here's a turnaround. So you use this to model your character. Here's a very embarrassing process of modeling the main character, Elsa, who, by the way, has a Facebook profile. She has many friends. So yeah, this is the process. A bit of lighting in the end. Okay. And then many experiments of the look of the film. How should the hair really look like? So on. Yep. And in this animation course, I was offered to use a few of the students to animate on my film. I was like, wow, fantastic. Free workforce. Yeah. Don't have to get any money. They're just there. But then there was just this little detail about something called direction. That I thought, oh yeah. I thought, you just tell them what to do and then they do it. It's not direction. Oh no, yeah, okay, I have to understand that as well. At the same time as I learned rigging, and I was very stressed. So I found ways of trying to describe what I wanted in text and try to give it to the animators. They animated on 3% of my film in the end. Because, the thing about students is that most of them, they leave the school again. You don't stay until your film is done. That's why, you need to pay people to stay. It's not like marriage. Most of the time. Yeah. Okay, so I tried to do that. So this is like a fancy first drawing, and then oops. And these are the very first 3D models that I made. This is the 2D animatic. It had a different ratio. And then there's a 3D animatic. The 3D animatic is like, if you imagine animation that is just like, you sort of block out what's going to happen. And then you feel how much time each scene should be, so you can plan your film like this. So you don't actually start and animate from A to B, which I actually did in this 1-minute film back in the day. And with that process, I maybe could have followed my time plan of half a year. But with all these things I needed to do, that was a good idea that I started to do. It just took more time. And instead of half a year, I spent 3. But that was not effective. It was like, I need to work, and go to this animation course, learn about all rigging. So yeah, so that, I actually don't know how much time it took for me effectively. But it was nice, it was good, and it felt good to learn these things, and yeah. Stuff happens, you know, the burglar in the film, he got a more advanced weapon, like a pump gun. Everything got a little bit more pumped. So this is a Photoshop drawing. So she's not modeled in 3D because she was gonna appear. I was effective, so I didn't model her in 3D. She was just gonna appear for maybe 80 frames. So I thought, maybe I don't need to model her. I draw her instead. But the problem with that, it was like, if I needed to learn, I needed to teach myself how to draw in Photoshop so it looked like my 3D model. Okay. So that took time to figure out, how do I even do that? And here's one of the animation tests. And then there was, going into the animation process was really, you work sort of with layered methods, that you do a pass, and then you do another pass on something else, then on something else, and then you can go back to the first one, and you can see that's not very good. And then, so you work in layers, and you just do a little bit, and then you add that more and more animation, and more detail. So I didn't bring with me like the typical blocking where it's moving like this. I wanted to show you that, but yeah, this is one of the. So you do a lot of sort of tests with how you want your animation to be, and after a while you sit, look at each frame. It's like, what's going on with the pinky? Because actually, it is important, because when it goes up on the big screen, you actually see the pinky, and especially if it's holding something that is central. And yeah. Here's some more Photoshop work. This is Elsa. This is her photo album. So I wanted to. Yeah, in the film, she's sort of. She gets a new friend, and she shows who she is through this photo album. They don't speak in the film. There is no narration. There's no narration and there's no dialogue. It's like a silent movie where there is sound effects. Like, when they move stuff around, it makes a sound, but they don't say anything. Because I thought that was smart, and it kind of was. Because then I didn't need to hire an actor or become an actor or a director of an actor. I could just skip that. And the problem with that is that we don't really relate so well with people who don't talk. So it's a good idea to have them talking. Maybe for the first films, it's good to focus on body language and stuff like this. So there she is, Elsa, in her family. She's also here. And this is her holiday pictures when she goes to Greece. Before the crisis. This is in the 50s. Yeah. She also went to Paris. Before Sarkozy. Oops. Okay. Maybe some final characters. I became really interested in texturing, and I guess I was always into that. Shading and texturing became something, and I was like, wow, that's cool. Okay, and there's a few things that, like, while I was making the film, there was like sometimes trying to get some more money, applying for some more money. There's these obstructions while making the film. You know, there's these your friends are telling you that you should stop. Your good friends are telling you that you should really stop. And the people you don't like, they give you advice about, you know, how it's better to make short productions and have many films. And there's a bombardment of good advice all the time, you know, like, oh yeah, I know, you should. It's not the detail, Henrik, it's the story. And all this. So then you have to fight this, and then you have to fight that after doing 7 minutes of animation, you develop this really interesting pain in your arm. And at one point I couldn't continue. I was really like, I had felt it before, but this was a new feeling. There was this cold feeling underneath the skin. Whoa, maybe I stopped. So I needed to learn how to draw and operate Maya, the software, with left hand. And yeah, it was just yeah. I did. So now I can draw. I mean, it's not pretty, but I can draw with both hands now.
So you can make 2 movies at the same time.
Exactly, that's what I thought. Yeah. Or make a stereoscopical one, you know.
Yeah.
Good idea. 20 years later, I hate you. Yeah. So after such a long process, you learn stuff, and one of the things I learned is that it's really good to decide a lot in script. It's really good to have a good script, because if you put shit into a computer, you get shit out of the computer. The computer doesn't make it better. The computer doesn't know how to do anything. It doesn't know how to do anything at all. I mean, you have to do every single frame, and then you have to work on it. And yeah, so if you do a lot of work, then it's really good if the story is good. So anyway, I try to sort of sum up and at the end of the project and sort of design my way out of that I disliked my film. Try to give it a context. And I turned around the quote, like, the hell is other people. Anybody knows who that's from? Who's that guy again?
Sartre.
Yeah. So he's a very dark guy. He didn't like people. So I turned that around. Paradise is lost without the others. And try to formulate what is my film. And actually, what I did in the end, writing this, actually is really, really good to do at the very start. It's really good to sum. If you can sum up your film in one sentence with all the commas, then you can talk to other people about it, and they can say, well, you know, that's a good idea, or not, and then you can talk about it. So yeah, this was really good. This is the poster. It's an A2 poster. This is the DVD cover. This is how it looks inside. That's the booklet. Then they have some merchandise. The website. This is the fan page. 265 likes.
Yeah.
3D World contacted me and wanted to know what I was doing. Why are you doing this, man? He gave me his questions, and I, oh, cool! I'm gonna be in